As you now begin the ujjayi breath, try to sense from where are you listening inside for that wisdom, deep inner sense of knowing. What is yours to dissolve today? What's in the way? And how might your body and your voice then express what you're coming to know? Please raise your hands to your heart. On behalf of the transition we have to make between the third and then the upper chakras, we'll chant the Gayatri mantra this morning. Let's begin. Om Bhargava Svaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhargava Svaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhargava Svaha Tatsaveto Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. A moment, please. Let's take the hands out to the side. Press out through the heels of your hands like this. Right, and pull the fingers up towards the sky and towards your ears. Now, keeping the arms raised as you're pressing out, lift your heart. And then tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. Up and over, right ear towards your right shoulder. And let's do that slowly using the ujjayi breath. Sense the transition that you're making side to side. Each time that you're raising your head, the nerves become more neutral. When you're tipping your head down to one side, you're lengthening a nerve pathway on that side and shortening it on the other side. So when your head goes left ear down, the right nerve pathway is getting longer. And when you take your right ear down towards your right shoulder, the right nerve pathway is getting shorter, the left one getting longer. Raise your head up to center, turn your palms face up. Press your thumbs back so the palms are as face up as you can, and the elbows reach out to the sides. Broaden your shoulder blades even as you move them down your back, and then rotate your head to your right as far as it comfortably goes, and to your left as far as it comfortably goes, and right, and left. Come to center and inhale, raise both arms up. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of your hands up, and now raise your chin up, open your throat, and bring your chin down, raising up, and drawing down. Raise up one more time. Push out, make a big circle with your arms, clasp your hands at the small of your back, roll your shoulders back, squeeze the elbows back, raise up into a little seated back bend. If possible, you can put your knuckles on the floor or the blanket behind you. Raise your head up and gaze to your right as far as you can. Pull the left shoulder back. And gaze to your left as far as you can. Draw the right shoulder back. And then rotate your head to center and release the clasp of your hands. And spend a few moments just observing, okay, what's happening now in the throat, and what gateway have you opened to give yourself some entry into the lower portion of the torso. So we said this earlier on in the immersion that the fifth chakra and the second chakra, there's a relationship there. Of course, between all the chakras, there's a relationship. And also then between the third chakra and the sixth, you can imagine a connection there. So first and fourth, second and fifth, third and sixth, fourth and seventh, like this. I don't know music. My sister knows music very well. I'm not talking about fifths or fourths or thirds in music. So let me just say it again. Between the first chakra and the fourth chakra, between the second and the fifth chakra, from the third to the fifth chakra, from the fourth to the seventh and beyond. There are connections there. So now take your right hand out to the side, place it on the floor, keep your elbows straight, turn your left palm up, and inhale to reach. And exhale, open, turn your gaze down. Inhale, raise up, and look up. Exhale, gaze down. Okay, once more, inhale, raise up and look up. And exhale. Place the left hand, side bend to your left. Reach your right arm past your right ear. Breathe in. Now exhale to open. Turn your gaze down. Inhale, raise your right arm and look up. Exhale. And again, inhale, noticing the rotation of your head and neck. What sensations are alive there? You exhale this time, rise up to your seat. Rest your hands out over your knees. And listen between the fifth chakra, the throat region, the second chakra, the inner belly, we want this communication to go from the lower three chakras to the upper. We have to transcend at the third chakra. So bring your attention now to the solar plexus here. We're going to do bhastrika, which we've been doing this week. So it'll be strong exhales, like you're blowing out a candle about 1.5 feet ahead of you. Let's begin. Exhale. Inhale to suspension using all three bandhas. Exhale slowly and completely, of course, in your own timing, sooner than mine if need be, or after mine if your preference is there. And again, with a strong exhale. Inhale to suspension. Use all three bandhas. Exhale completely in the timing that is best for your body. And deeply relax your abdomen. It's possible that your breath is going to feel very shallow right now, maybe even imperceptible. And let's begin now the most subtle, even more subtle than before, the most subtle form of your ujjayi breath. And see if you can, with great sensitivity, feel the breath and moving up the front line of the chakras, just along the front side of the spine. Please release there. And sit quietly, just noticing the reflection of what's happening outside. And let's please come up to standing in the jazz dance warm-up pose. So we're going to do a little pranayama there also. Set aside the things that you don't need. Just in the jazz dance position. Press out through the inner thighs as always. And try rolling the thighs externally, so you would sense that the inseam of the leg is rising to the top seam, and the top seam is rotating around towards the outer seam. And my hope is that your weight feels like it's in the outer heels, not just your inner heels. Broaden the back of your sacrum and the back of your waist, so we're not sort of dumping forward at the lumbar spine, nor where your lumbar spine meets your thoracic spine. So if we saw you from a side view, your torso is going to be on a little angle. And I'm going to ask us to practice here the bhastrika and then the kappalabhati. So tone the pelvic floor and let's begin. Exhale. Inhale to suspension. Broaden the back of your body while you suspend the inhalation. Exhale slowly and completely. Rise up, make your feet parallel. Come down to parsvakonasana. We will be returning to the jazz dance pose. So come down momentarily to parsvakonasana. And see what you can discover now about the most smooth and subtle ujjayi breath. And any sense of that connection up the line of the chakras. And raise your hands up to your hips. Please rise up to standing. Turn your heels in, toes out, and come back down to the jazz dance pose. And again, check that you're rotating the inseam of the legs up and over, the outer seam of the legs down. So the back of your pose, I hope, feels more broad, and that your outer heels are anchored. And now, kappalabhati. Exhale. Inhale to suspension. Broaden the back of your body. Exhale completely. Raise up, make your feet parallel, and come down to prasarita padottanasana. Now in this prasarita, we're going to practice something that you'll really feel the connection from the first, second, and fifth chakras, which is where the bandhas are. Walk your hands forward, as we've done so many times before. When you walk the hands forward, go ahead and just be on your fingertips or on some blocks. Putting the palms flat is not necessary. You can if you want to, but don't put your body weight forward into your arms so much as back into your legs. Connect again to the most subtle form of your ujjayi breath. Now, as you're practicing in that ujjayi breath, what I'm going to ask you to do, you're going to inhale smoothly and completely. And then I'd like you to exhale smoothly and completely. At the end of the exhale, you'll be squeezing the breath out and squeezing the belly. And the muscles that make that squeeze, I'd like you then to profoundly relax those muscles without inhaling. And just see what happens for the first blush of what happens there. So you deeply exhale, squeeze the belly muscles without inhaling, relax the muscles that made the exhale. Before the next inhale, you're going to just tone the belly gently so that you can recalibrate the pressure system of the torso. And then enjoy a smooth ujjayi breath. So in that momentary vacuum that you're making inside the body, you may sense that the inner belly is whisked inward and upward because of the vacuum. And if you can connect that sensation to the pelvic floor, the inner belly, and the throat, you're going to be connecting the bandhas, the subtle form of the bandhas. Let's do it again. So it's a smooth ujjayi inhale. And a smooth, steady ujjayi exhale. You're squeezing the breath out. At the very end of that squeeze, when you feel you've really emptied the lungs as much as you can, you're going to, without inhalation, deeply relax the exhale muscles. And then tone the belly before you inhale so you're not gasping for the in-breath. Please walk your hands back to your hips and rise up to standing. And let's go heel toe to center. So what you were doing there is not like a formal Uddiyana Bandha. It's not a formal Uddiyana Bandha, but the beginning of what Uddiyana Bandha would be. So getting the stages of it, it's like exhale, 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 contracting, relaxing those explicit exhale muscles that are more outer body, like rectus abdominis and obliques, even the transversus, you're relaxing that. And then momentarily that vacuum is experienced. That's the very beginning of a deliberate Uddiyana Bandha. So those are more passive Uddiyana Bandhas. I'm calling it passive because you're experiencing it in the release of the exhale muscles. That vacuum happens because there's a pressurized system. That's you. You are a pressurized system here, and you've shifted the pressure process. So your body vacuums instead of vacuuming air in, which is what the inhale is. We're vacuuming the air in with the diaphragm, it comes into the lungs. Instead of that explicit inhale vacuum, we have a vacuum inside when there's no breath, when we're in that exhale suspension. Okay, so just keeping that in mind, please. It's something that I want you to be thoughtful about how you do it. It's not just like a crazy running off into Uddiyana Bandha kind of experience. Okay, let me change the angle of the camera here.
Sarahjoy, will you check your odds?
Say it again.
Will you check your odds?
Yeah. My microphone's set to the Yeti, which is where I normally have it. Let me just check the inflow. It's also at its highest point. Who was asking for the audio? Nancy?
It's Nancy. It might be on my end.
Okay.
I can hear you. It's just not as clear as you.
Okay. Maybe my enunciation is changing. I don't know. Okay, so now standing. Take a wide stance on your mat. We're going to review some of the things we were doing earlier this week. Please turn your right foot to the right and the left heel out slightly. Sweep your arms wide. Press out through the heels of the hands like we started class with. Imagine the circumference that's you, right? So back heel, back hand, up over the head, front hand, front foot, this enormous circumference that's you, and beyond that circumference. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bend your right knee, place your right forearm, come into side angle pose. Now inhale to open your left arm and twist to your left. Gaze up. Exhale, reach over and gaze down. Inhale to open like you're opening up the sky of the vine. Twist to your left. Exhale, raise up and over, gaze down. Inhale, rise up, look up, twist to open. Then exhale, come over. We're going to stay over in this position. So as you now reach through your left arm and your left heel, let's gaze down because your concentration is going to feel a little bit closer to home, closer to your own body. So I'd like you to inhale smoothly. Relax any and all sense of urgency and exhale smoothly. Notice how you're squeezing the exhale out at the end. Draw your outer right hip under your pose so the right sitting bone should feel toned and supported. With the pressure of your right arm against your right knee, inhale, raise your right heel. And exhale, lower your right heel, keeping your right hip really stable. Left leg also steady. Inhale, raise your right heel. Exhale, root your right heel. Do it one more time. You have to lift against the pressure of your elbow on your knee. Exhale to root. And then notice if anything changes in your rotation or the freedom of the upper torso. Root down into your right heel and rise up to center. Relax both arms. Turn your right foot in, your left foot out. The arms wide. Embody the circumference that's you. Down to your left. Place your left forearm on your left knee or thigh. With your inhale, sweep your right arm up and clear out the space of your mind. You can gaze up. And then exhale, reach your arm past your ear, gaze down. Inhale, again, sweep it up and twist to your right. Exhale. Press back into your right heel. So this C curve that you're making as you look down has a taproot back there at the right heel. Notice how it is for you to rotate your head and your neck and your shoulder. And to keep the lower body really stable. The next time that you're reaching your right arm past your right ear, go ahead and keep your gaze down. Come into the subtle form of the ujjayi breath. And check that you've got some tone at your left outer hip, your left sitting bone, the left hamstring. And then inhale, raise your left heel up. Exhale, root down. Inhale to rise. You're lifting up against the pressure of your left arm. Exhale to root. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, root down. And then check the quality of freedom in the upper torso. And as you rise, the quality of stability in the legs. Please make your feet parallel. Down to parsvakonasana. Reach back and interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Let's roll the shoulders open. Squeeze your shoulder blades in towards your spine and down towards your hips. Make the neck long and as much as possible supple. So whatever your angle happens to be as you come forward here, your head is going to have a little bit of traction because of gravity. Be thoughtful about your neck and turn your head as far as you comfortably can to your right. And as far as you comfortably can to your left. And to the right and the left slowly. If you imagine that part of what you're doing with your practice right now is preparing yourself for the day to come, not just like getting through it and doing your responsibilities, but how you'll be communicating on this day. If you picture that, what does that infuse in terms of your actions right now with your head, neck, and shoulders, with your breath and your body? Come to center, and with your next inhale, raise up through your heart, root down through your tailbone. Step your feet heel to toe, heel toe. And let's turn to face the east for surya namaskar. You haven't yet trimmed these because it requires a ladder, and that's not one of my strong suits. The ladder, looking up with the clippers. So I know I'm obscured by the grape leaves right now. Join your hands together. Raise up through the crown of your skull, and when you root the tailbone down, try to sense the back of the heels, including the outer heels, so you have a real firmness about your root system. With that stability, inhale the ujjayi breath, go down, wide, and up. Exhale, come forward to uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward through your spine. Raise your heart, the base of your skull, and then your chin. And exhale to bow towards your legs. Curl in from the deep low belly, upper belly, and then into your throat. Inhale, glide forward. Low belly, mid belly, upper belly, heart, base of the skull, and then the chin. And exhale to deeply bow, curling in. Once more, glide forward. Include opening your throat, but as the last horizon. Then step your left foot straight back. Let's keep the left heel lifted for now. Inhale, twist to your right, look up. Exhale, level off to airplane pose. Find your right outer hip and sitting bone there. And inhale, rise up to your crescent lunge. And then exhale, arms wide, and come down to airplane pose. Touch the floor. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Notice the undulation of the spine. The second chakra, fifth chakra relationship is there, as with all the others, also there. Again, inhale to cow pose. Curl your toes under. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, left foot forward. Keep the right heel lifted. Inhale, twist to your left. Open your chest, your heart, and your throat. Exhale, airplane pose. Keep the left outer hip very stable. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Exhale, airplane pose. Come slowly forward, left outer hip stable. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, knees down, child's pose. We're going to add to the sequence right here. So from earlier this week, now inhale, rise up to kneeling. Take your hands behind you, open the chest, heart, and inhale, rise up with your heart. Exhale, reach forward, pranam. Inhale, undulate forward to cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, roll back towards child's pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, roll up past Vajrasana to the chest and shoulder opening. Exhale, squeeze the upper back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reach forward, pranam. Again, inhale, undulate forward to cow pose. Okay, exhale to cat pose. Inhale, almost all the way back to child's pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, roll up, look up. Exhale, squeeze the upper back. And inhale, rise up. Come forward, pranam. And come forward to table, plank. And notice how you hold yourself steady. With both feet on the floor and about hip distance apart, squeeze the toes towards each other, right toes, left toes. Notice the inner seam of the legs. Lengthen your tailbone back towards your heels. Sweep the pubic bone up towards your belly button. The navel gently in towards the lumbar spine. Broaden the back of your waist, the back of your heart. Press your palms isometrically towards each other and lift the base of your skull. And then inhale, reach back, downward facing dog pose. Walk your feet and hands towards each other. Come to the middle of your mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. So in the undulation of the spine, we're moving through all of the chakras there, of course. And what I'd like us to do is to check in with the neck and shoulders from earlier this week also. And then as you sequence, I want to go on the floor. So if you'll find a spot, let me go to my right arm, which is not my right arm. My left arm being my right arm. So take your right hand up to your wall spot, your door frame, your fence post. I don't know what to call this thing now. The trellis, the post of the trellis. And roll your right shoulder back. Lift your chest and heart. Don't exploit the rib cage here, please. Inhale, sweep the left arm out and gaze to your left. And then exhale, gaze down, roll your spine, bend the knees as needed. Inhale, open to your left. If you bent the knees, please straighten them. And exhale. And you can ask yourself, if your practice is not just to get you ready for the physical labor of the day, but also for connecting and communicating, for being more sensitive, how does that infuse the efforts you're making right now? So one more time, inhale. And then see if you are able to tippy toe, raise it up. Reach your left arm high. Lower your heels as you side bend towards your right arm. rise up, release. And we'll go to the other post of the trellis. You'll go to the other side of your door frame or change where you are on the wall, or you're holding onto your piano. I don't know. You all have different situations. So just don't step backwards off the deck. Okay, so left hand at shoulder height, please. Roll your left shoulder back, lift your chest and your heart. And inhale to open to your right. So I'll come across. There's a little twist and a little flexion. You can bend the knees if you like. Inhale to open. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So following the pace that's your breath, of course, go one more time up to open the chest, heart, and shoulders. And then ask of your own body, how would you tippy toe from here? Raise up with your right arm. And as you begin to side bend to your left, lower your heels down. And then bring it up to neutral, release from there. Okay, I hope the neck and shoulders are ready. Please take a blanket, a lengthwise folded blanket. Place it down on your mat, facing to the east. Because it's nice to do so and it's traditional. But if you don't have east to face to, if that's like causes you to face, I don't know, at the couch or something, and you can't see your computer, of course, you modify. So we're going to be placing the pelvis here on the front edge of the blanket. So the pubic bone will be just off, just barely off the back side of the blanket there. Okay, root down through your legs. I don't want to run into the microphone, but I also want to be able to see you. Okay, so root down through your legs, the tops of your thighs, the tops of your knees, your kneecaps, your feet. Bring your head to center. As you lengthen the tailbone back, you may feel the lumbar spine and the sacrum, the sense that they're also getting longer. Using your ujjayi breath, please inhale and lift into salambasana. Exhale, come down, turn your head to your left. Inhale, rise up, bring your head to center. Exhale, head to your right. Inhale, rise. Legs are grounded. Exhale, come down, head to your left. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, descend. Again, please. And one more time, turn your head to the right. So your body's going to recalibrate there for a few moments. Now, if it's comfortable for you to do so, I'd like you to scoot back on the blanket until the blanket is just above the pubic bone, and you're going to feel a little bit of pressure in the lower abdomen. Lengthen your tailbone down towards the floor. Reach back to clasp your hands at the small of your back or hold your yoga strap. Bring your head to center. Now the thighs should feel more grounded because of the position of the pubic bone on the blanket. Roll your shoulders back, energize your legs, and when you rise up, see to what extent you can sustain the pose. I'd like you to be a little more aware now of your throat posture, because if you extend the chin too far forward in this position, it does tend to cause some laxity or forgetfulness at the second chakra. Like the belly becomes more lax, not more toned. So sweep your chin in towards the center of your throat. Lift the base of your skull and see what tone that contributes down into the deep abdomen. As you squeeze the arms back, keep the legs grounded. And then exhale and lower down. And let's make a little pillow of the two hands and place your chin there. Placing your chin on the back of your hands, now the throat is open. Notice what's happening with the breath and how your body settles back towards homeostasis after some exertion. And then place your hands beneath your shoulders. Press up. Turn about. Lie on your back so that your hips are in front of the blanket. Reach for a block, put it under the blanket on the flat setting, right up behind the base of your skull, along the cervical spine. If you're outdoors and it's chilly, reach for your other blanket and your parka. Okay, so come to Shavasana position. This is going to be our Shavasana pose. When you first arrive, I'd like you just to tuck the shoulders under, turn the palms face up, and practice turning your head as far down to the right as you comfortably can, noticing the left side of your neck. And then to center and down to your left side. Rotate your head as far as you comfortably can to your left. Do that once more in each direction before we come into Shavasana. And then let yourself get really still inside your Shavasana. the willingness for your practice to really transform you. You don't know what that transformation will look like, so it is also kind of welcoming of the unknown. And stay present again to the dissolving that happens in Shavasana. At the first chakra, may we dissolve some of the fear we carry, the fear of the unknown. The second chakra, may the restlessness of the unmet needs, may the restlessness fade so the needs can simply be known and we can speak on their behalf. We can communicate on behalf of those unmet needs. May the restlessness fade there. At the third chakra, any sense of urgency, any sense of frustration or frenzy, may that dissolve. At the fourth chakra, there's even the hints of jealousy or comparison, envy, pity, the hints of those less than full-hearted expressions of who we are. At the fifth chakra, may our apprehension with our voice, may that dissolve even a tiny bit. As you consider that, when you feel ready to, you may then make your thoughtful transition of your shavasana back up to your seat. Bring your hands into the mudra for the first chakra. Lam, lam, lam. Lam, lam, lam. Second. Wam, 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 wam. Third. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Fourth. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Fifth chakra. Hum, 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 hum. 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 Bring your hands down to rest in your lap. As we are soon to embark on the day, may we ask ourselves again, from where am I listening? Or what am I responding? How am I speaking? Where might the other person be listening from? And we remind ourselves that that Vijnanamaya Kosha, that immense and also impersonal wisdom that is shared, that collective wisdom, also lives in the other and may also be obscured to them as ours is at times to us. And slowly raise your hands up, just bringing your intention through the chakras to place that in your heart. And then in the centers of the palms, Anjali Mudra, and place it in your vision, in your speech, in your heart, in your community. Not just us here, but also everyone, your neighborhood, and the neighborhood beyond your neighborhood. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste.